Coaches, today on Air Raid Nation, we're going to talk a little Shakespeare. You know, it's final exam time in a lot of schools across the country, and people are reading their stories and getting ready for their tests. And so I just had one question, today for you. To be or not to be? Stay tuned. All right, coaches, welcome back to Air Raid Nation. This is Coach Coltharp coming to you again with another video here on the channel. And I'm really excited about today's video because I've been preparing for our live clinic, our first live clinic of the off season here on Sunday night. We're doing a clinic on calling plays in the air raid. I mean, it's something different that we've never done before here. A lot of guys from the group are coming in. Coach Salas, Drew Piscopo, Chris Napier, some really good coaches from the state of North Carolina, a couple state championship winners, one from North Carolina, one from South Carolina. A couple college coaches are coming in, to help out with the Q&A. But Coach Salas and I are going to be doing the live clinic portion, and we're just going to talk about, theories of play calling and actually going to take you through a game. And, at the time of me making this video, there's still a couple of slots left in that, so if you want to check that out, man, follow me on Twitter or check down in the description and I'll put you a link and see if you can't get into that. If not, we're going to record it and it'll be on CoachTube here in the next couple of weeks. But I thought it would be really interesting to start talking about what goes into calling a game. We're actually going to go through an entire game and kind of give you our thought processes. Like, you guys may not know that I was offensive coordinator for Coach Salas this year. I worked the box, he worked the field, and we kind of worked together, and we scored a ton of points and had a really good time. And it was really, really fun to be with him again. But, really what I wanted to do was to kind of ask some questions. So I put a poll out there on Twitter, and I basically asked, would you rather call a game from the press box or would you rather call a game from the sideline? And so that's kind of where the play on words it comes from, to be or not to be on the press box. So that's what we're going to talk about in today's video, man. If you like this kind of content, man, I really appreciate it if you subscribe to the channel, man. Drop a like, man. If we could get 100 likes on this video in the first week, it would mean a lot to me, man. It helps the channel grow. Puts it out to young coaches who don't know anything about it, and we want to expose those things that we're doing as we move through the off season and stuff like that. But all that good stuff being said, let's jump in the video. All right, coaches, here we are over in the presentation, and I thought I would jump into it, man. It's not going to be a very, really long video because I'm really, really interested in what you guys think and what some of your justifications are. So I'm going to give you 2 pros and 2 cons in today's video, and I would love to read down the comments, what you guys think and your opinion on that, because we're still developing the presentation for Sunday night, man, and I really would like for that thing to be top notch. So that's why I wanted to do the video today, so that you guys could really provide some context in that. So to be or not to be, and you can see my man Shakespeare sitting there talking about it. Is it cool to be on the press box or not? Now, I'm going to go ahead and preface this. I've been in this situation, man. If you're the head coach and you're the offensive play caller, obviously you're not going to have a choice where you're calling plays. I've only seen a couple of head coaches call plays from the press box, and that's usually, because of a health issue or something like that. So, obviously this doesn't apply to you if you're a head coach, but if you're like me, a former head coach who's now an offensive coordinator or something like that, then this is kind of an issue where you can address that. So I do believe as an OC you have a choice, if the head coach gives you that option, whether you go up or down. And I've done both. The first time I called plays from the box is when I was at Lane back in the day, like 2014 when I coached at the college. That was the first time I'd ever done it. And it was an interesting experience for me, for somebody who had never been in the box before, just feeling away from everything and really being able to focus on the football part of that. I wish I had had some experience in calling plays from the box before doing that, but that was something that was different. So at first I didn't feel real comfortable with it. This time around, being on the box wasn't a big thing for me because I had done it before, but Definitely, do you feel more comfortable on the sideline or do you feel more comfortable in the box? I can tell you this. A lot of you guys might not know this, but I finished the year off the last 4 or 5 weeks as the defensive coordinator, and I love calling defense from the press box. That's phenomenal. So if you ever get a chance to do that, that's a good thing too. So really, let's jump into the video. The meat and potatoes of it, man. To be or not to be on the press box. What do you think? And like I said, man, comment on the video below, man, so we can get some discourse going. Because I really want this live clinic to be a thing, and I want it to be beneficial. So it really is going to depend on everything. So what are some of the pros, man? I mean, first off, when you're calling plays from the press box, man, you see everything. It's like playing Madden. I mean, you look right here in the pictures. I can see where the walk player is. I can see the depth of the corners. I can see the box. I can see what the safeties are doing. And this was a game that we had where. That's actually the exact view of where we were on the box. The camera guy was right next to me on the box up there. This wasn't one of those sit down boxes. It was more of a traditional high school box. But that view right there as an offensive play caller is amazing. So being able to see everything and say, okay, hey, I got a one technique here or a three technique here. I like counter strong. I like outside zone weak based on alignment. The quick screens are there all day long based on depth. Those are some of the best things that you can think about pros of being on the press box, is being able to see everything. It's like playing a video game. The other thing is it's a really calmer environment, man, where you can be more organized. You're not really having to deal with the maelstrom. So I told you guys, I put a poll out there, and Coach Weeks, hit me with this one. In the reply, he's like, this is a tough one. Either situation, you have someone you trust on the other end of the headset. Calling from the box is more clinical. It's easy to lose flow of the game. Calling from the sideline, it's easy to get caught up watching the game and get distracted. So, yeah, I mean, he hit the nail on the head with that one. When you're up on the box, man, sometimes you can feel excluded from everything. But also, you don't get caught up in the ebb and flow, and in the excitement of, oh my God, that was a big play, and then all of a sudden, oh, wait a minute, when you're not in the middle of all that heat. It's really, really important. But he also has another good point there about having guys down on the sideline who can do some things. So, that's kind of another pro, just kind of being in that calmer environment where you can be more organized. And a lot of times if you've got a good spot, hey, you can spread your play cards out, you can make notes, got your little iPad next to you, all that good stuff. So it's not a pretty good thing. So what about a couple of the cons of this deal? We just talked about it, just feeling detached from the game, man. Sometimes you just kind of feel lonely. You're up there on the box. You're not really interacting with the players much, except for when you talk to one of them on the headsets. I used to talk to the quarterback or one of the offensive linemen or something. Hey, do this, do that. But you're kind of detached from everything. So, it really is like being a chess player. You're kind of playing. You're just moving pieces, but you're really not interacting with them. Coach Malone talked about this in his tweet. He's like, the feel of the game is big for me. Tried to press box my first year, didn't really work out. I have, he's like, he had a great group of coaches who do everything and see everything, so he trusts them. He's like, I love his statement. He's like, I could call a game from a parking lot, based on what they're talking about, which is so true. And that's why if you're an air raid guy, man, you need to make sure your guys know your offense, know what you're looking for as an OC. Practice, go back through games with them and watch games. And one of the things I talked to Coach Salas about. He took one of our young coaches, and on Mondays, they would go through the game, or go through scout tape, and he would say, this is what I'm looking for. Tell me this, tell me that. Him and I used to get into it all the time because he says I talk too much. He says I give him too much information. And we're going to talk about that in the clinic. What kind of information do you want from the press box? I was one of those guys who, if you told me what the coverage was, whatever, I was cool because I knew what I wanted to do versus whatever. Coach Salas is one of those guys that when I was on the box, he would just say, freaking call the play. Look at your side of the field, call what you see, tell me what you see. Don't say slant, don't say out, just call whatever we call that play. And, so that's something that you really have to have. And Coach Malone really brings that up in a good part where he talks about, having a good relationship with his guys and trusting them. And I can't, really press that harder. And is it harder to make adjustments? And I put a question mark on that because it's not as hard as it used to be. Coach Harrison said, he's like, I like being in the box when I'm assisting the OC. When I'm calling, I want to be on the sideline. You know, he's like he wants to be able to talk to the QBs in between series, and make more adjustments. He feels like he can make more of his adjustments on the sideline. But you know, if he's not the OC, he's not the play caller. He wants to be on the press box, and so you know that's interesting because now you have these these sideline systems. And in the comments down below, I mean, how many of you guys use a sideline system, and which one do you use? We have one. I'm not sure what the brand is. I just help set the full thing up. But we actually bring a TV to our games now. We put a TV and a tent on the sideline in between series each. One of the benefits of two platooning, we take the whole offense to the tent or the whole defense to the tent, and we're able to make adjustments. So, you know, what are some of the conclusions? I told you today's video is not going to be real long. You know, it's really a matter of field. You know, do you want to be in the box? Do you want to be on the sideline? You know, based on what your pros and cons are. You know, or do you feel like you have to make all the adjustments, or can you have your coaches do that? Which, you know, do you really have capable assistants? And can technology change that? You know, one of the cool things is you know, we can hook up like 7 iPads to our to our sideline system. So we have one that goes to the big TV for the team to look at, and then I have an iPad up on the press box with me, and I can go back through the plays and just, you know, tell the guy down on the head, say, hey, look, on play 17, tell Johnny that blah 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 blah. And so he can, you know, he relays exactly what I say. So we kind of get the best of both worlds because of that sideline system. And then also, you know, there's some times where you just say, hey, man, put Brandon on the headset. Let me holler at him real quick. And so you're talking to him, and you're like, hey, look, B, you know, hey, let's get that ball out as soon as that step hits, or you know, you're staring down and remember we're looking at grass, don't force it. Whatever you would tell them during the game would be more important. But really and truly, man, you know, it's a matter of preference. I don't think there's a right, wrong, and difference. I did 2 polls. I did a Twitter poll, and then I did a poll over on the Squadron Briefing. And if you haven't joined the Squadron Briefing, man, and you want to do that, if you'll do right here, and I'll put it in the video, if you'll text Air Raid Nation to 22828, you can sign up with your cell phone, man. I give all kind of, you know, stuff away, man. Matter of fact, I just gave away 200 free courses last week to guys in the briefing. You get short notices or sooner notices of different types of things that we're doing over on CoachTube and different kind of stuff like that. So if you want to do that, that's cool. But like, here's what it was. I mean, 67% of people said sideline, 33% said press box, and in the mailing list it was 66% and 34%, man. So it was pretty much the same thing, man. So to be or not to be, do you want to be in the press box? Most of you guys said sideline, but it's a matter of preference. What are some of your pros? What are some of your cons? We're going to talk about this in depth, plus our theories of play calling and so much more Sunday night, man. So if you haven't signed up for that clinic, you can do that in the link below. But hey, look, I really appreciate you guys checking on the channel. Please subscribe. Make sure you like the video, man, so we can share it to the world. And as always, spin it to win.